You're watching the Green Machine live. You're home for Irish football news and nostalgia. David Dunn here on his own, really. Not for long, because you guys are going to be watching. Thank you very, very much. And we are going to be talking about Mike Dean and the controversy of what he admitted to this week. We're also going to be looking at, well, Stephen Kenny, he's got a bit of a squad dilemma coming up. The squad announced on the 1st of September. And also we're going to be having a look at, well, how the rest of the boys in green got on over the weekend. All of this and more coming up on tonight's Green Machine. And of course, this is Irish football's most interactive podcast. So I want to hear from you guys. It's just me. So, I want a bit of company, lads. I love you. The other lads don't. That's why they're not here. But I want to hear from you guys out there in YouTube and Facebook land. Speaking of which, don't forget to give us a cheeky subscribe over on YouTube. If you're not watching us already on YouTube, why aren't you watching us on YouTube? Watch us on YouTube. Go over to YouTube. We'll wait for you. Hit us a cheeky subscribe over there. You can head over to Facebook. You can head over to Twitter, Instagram, and you can also head over to our website, greenmachinepodcast.com. That's the greenmachinepodcast.com for more news and opinion. And yeah, what a day. No Scum supporters on, just a very happy Red. I'm going to watch that viewership count go down. Great win for the Reds. Graham, are you on yet? Where's my fellow Red? Good man, Graham. Starry with you. He can't seem to comment on YouTube, Graham. Well, don't worry. You can comment here anyway. Fantastic. It's just us here. What a fantastic win, eh? Against Newcastle. Go on the pool. Anyway, enough about that. We're going to get straight into it. We're going to get into the state of play. A little bit different. It's not going to be Irish-based-ish, anyway. So, I'm not sure if you guys out there watch or are familiar with Simon Jordan, the former Crystal Palace owner. He has a podcast out called Upfront with Simon Jordan. He's also on White and Jordan during the Weekend Talk Sport over here in the UK. I'm sure you can get it in Ireland as well. He's really good. I like him. He's a breath of fresh air. He's like a charmless Eamon Dunphy. Anyway, he had the former Premier League referee and former VAR ref, Mike Dean, on his podcast Upfront. And Mike Dean was very upfront. He admitted in a game last season, again, between Chelsea and Tottenham, you might remember, basically, Chelsea wanted Spurs defender Christian Romero sent off for pulling Mark Cucurella to the floor by his hair. And it went to VAR, and it wasn't given. This is what Mike Dean had to say about it. I missed the stupid hair pull at Chelsea versus Tottenham, which is pathetic from my point of view. I didn't want to send him, Anthony Taylor, referee, up because he is a mate as well as a referee. And I think I didn't want to send him up because I didn't want any more grief than he'd already had. So basically, this is Mike Dean admitting that he had seen the very foul that the referee had missed, which is basically his job. And he just, I didn't want any more aggro for his mate. Now, he's since come out, and he was on Sky Sports yesterday, and he said, oh, well, I may have called him my mate, but he's just a colleague, really. That's well out of proportion. People shouldn't have an issue with that. No, Mike, I think you'll find people don't have an issue so much with that. It's the fact that you blatantly didn't do your job. And I don't know what you guys think about it, by the way, before I go off on the inevitable rant that you can probably feel is coming. But yeah, tell me what you think about Mike Dean. Tell me what you thought about the decision. And actually, also, tell me what you think is the worst referee decision to go against Ireland. Do not mention Thierry Henry in Paris. Please do not, because that's been done to death. Besides the handball against Ireland, tell me what you think is the worst refereeing decision that's gone against the boys in green. But anyway, just going back to Mike Dean, I mean, a lot of these referees, they reckon, the abuse they get is terrible, which it is terrible. You shouldn't be getting abused, but it's hardly surprising when they're doing things like this, when they're missing things like this. Whatever better referee missing something in a heated moment, the game is very quick. It's filled with cheaters and divers. But when you actually have the luxury of sitting down and watching this on a television screen in a studio truck in the other part of the country, and you're still missing things, it's no wonder why. And this is just utterly pathetic. I think now he's come out and he's tried to defend himself on Sky because, Sky has thought, well, we can't really get rid of him off our VAR panel or whatever that they do on Gillette Soccer Saturday, where they send over a dodgy decision over to Mike Dean, was the referee right? Because, they probably invested a lot of money to build his own little desk thing and the whole lot. So they get him to explain himself. That's kind of what Sky do. He did with Jamie Carragher when he was caught spitting at those fans. They get you to explain yourself. So they're giving you another chance, essentially, because it's a little bit hypocritical, I think, having somebody like that on the panel. Why are we going to this guy to get some expert analysis? He is an expert in terms of the fact that he used to do the job, but he can't do it. He really, he can't do it, and he can't do it properly. So why are we listening to this guy? Why is this guy given a platform on television? To me, it just seems absolutely mental, but he's given credence, and, Sky have put a lot of money into him. I just think it's absolutely mental. So I'm a Jordan who I actually do like listening to, and I do enjoy listening to, was trying to defend him, because obviously he's put him, he's outed him, so to speak, on his own podcast, which is a good podcast, by the way. I do recommend you have a listen to that. And he's trying to defend him, and you can't really defend it, can you? That's just my take on it. I just don't know why we have this guy on television. I just think it's really, really, really poor. Tell me what you think anyway in the comments. That's just my little rant. I just heard about it during the week and I thought, you know what, I'm not having this. But yeah, he's trying to defend it by saying, oh, he's not my mate. We all have people we don't like, and he's one of them, but he's not my mate. Anyway, I just think it's utterly ridiculous. And if you remember, actually, after that game, that's the one where Tuchel and Conte had to be dragged apart. You remember? And I think Tuchel got fired very soon. Not just because of that. He's quite a difficult customer. But yeah, just to finish up there, Dean said it's all been blown out of context, referring to him as a mate. You've got to look at it in context. You might not like some guys in your refereeing group, but when you get a name on the weekend, there are 4 of you in the middle, a VAR and an AVR. Those 6 people are your mates for the day. The mate thing has been blown out of proportion. That's not what we're annoyed about, Mike. But anyway, that's my rant for the week. We're going to move it on to Boys in Green. Keep your comments coming in there, guys. I see them coming in. And we will get to those towards the end of the program. So we're going to move it on to our Boys in Green. We're going to get a little bit more Irish orientated. So anyway, here we are. I'll read it out to you. See, this is normally where I get Nick to do, but he's not on because he doesn't love you like I do. Liam the Lap, the son of Rory the Lap. Liam the Lap, apparently he wasn't eligible to play for Ireland. Apparently. Oh, God. But yes, he is. He very much is. Liam the Lap is very much available to play for Ireland. He is on loan at Hull City from Man City, and he got an assist in a 1-1 draw with Bristol City. Mark Sykes in that same game got an assist for Bristol City, and it was actually a lovely bit of play as well from I've gone completely blank. Jason Knight, lovely run there. He played excellently in that game. He did, actually. Hulk Hogan got a goal for Birmingham against Plymouth Argyle. Callum O'Dowda assist for Cardiff. Do you know, we have a private group here, and between Martin, Nick, and myself, where we sort of, we crew all the data for the week. And Martin was at pains to, he was absolutely at pains to tell me that Callum O'Dowda got an assist with a middle finger, which is, classy of Martin. But then I was at pains to point out to Martin, yes, Sheffield Wednesday, the wonderful Sheffield Wednesday, who currently sit bottom of the championship with no points. Played 4, lost 4, 0 points. So I could get an assist against Sheffield Wednesday. But anyway, we're moving on. Yes, we are, Daryl. Daryl's just commented there over on YouTube. We're allowed slate O'Dowda all we want tonight without the backlash. I'm allowed to do it anyway, Daryl. I don't care. I'll say it to Martin's face if he was here. I might just say to that instead. Right, where was I? Back to our Boys in Green. Adam Ida with a goal and assist for Norwich City against Huddersfield Town. He's done really well, Adam Ida. Fair play to him there. He's had a lot of issues with injuries, and for such a young lad, really knocks you out of your stride, really knocks your confidence. But he's doing well, and we need him. Stephen Kenny's shown a lot of faith in him, and we really need him firing on all cylinders. He's a massive potential. Nick's favourite player, Alan Brown, got an assist for Preston North End against Swansea City. Good man, Alan. Ryan Manning with 2 assists for Southampton against QPR. Fair play. QPR, obviously, sorry, Declan, if you're watching, bit of a turbulent season for them, I think. But Ryan Manning, he had a bit of a poor showing last week. I wasn't impressed with him in the game against away in Plymouth, actually. But he's come back in, and hopefully just in time, as the Ireland squad will be announced on the 1st. Jason Malumbi with an assist for West Brom against Middlesbrough. Malumbi again doing the business for West Brom. It was seen trying to drag them to the Premier League. I know some criticize his maybe lack of technical prowess, but you know what? He makes things happen. I really like him. I think he's a future Ireland captain. There you go. Where are we? Tyler Goodrham, 2 goals for Oxford against Charlton. Now, this guy, Tyler Goodrham, he sort of burst onto the scene. So he is playing in League One. Now, Connor over on Republic of Ireland Tracker has been really tooting the horn. You are. Connor, if you're watching, I'm not sure you are, about this guy. And I tried to do a little bit of research on him. He is Irish eligible through his grandparents. Now, he's got no connection. He hasn't played underage football at all. I'd love to show you the goal that he got. He got 2 goals, and I'd love to show you the footage of that, but I can't because it was on Sky and it'd be taken down. But my God, he looks like a player. He just slaloms in and out of the defence, and he just smashes in the top corner. If we can get him on board, it could be the latest in the... it could be another Tom Cannon situation there, but what a player this guy could be. Good man, Connor. There he is. He is here. Fantastic. Give me some more stats, Connor. My stat man isn't here tonight. Give me some more stats about Tyler, and we'll get to it in the comment section. Aaron Cashin with a goal for Derby and an assist for Derby against Peterborough. Good man. Danny Mandrew with a goal and assist for Lincoln against Blackpool. Barry Cotter an assist for Barnsley against Wigan, and a Johnny Haynes goal. Johnny Hayes goal. Johnny Haynes, obviously the first football superstar, who has a stand named after him at Fulham. Not this guy here, but he got a goal for Aberdeen against St Mirren. And of course, tonight, last night actually, Troy Parrott made his Eredivisie debut, coming on 5 minutes from the end. To be fair, he hasn't played a lot of football, so they're just going to ease him in there for Feyenoord's feeder club, or used to be the feeder club, didn't they? Excelsior. So good luck there. And any more comments there? And I don't think I missed anything there in terms of other information. If I have, guys, help me out. Help out a brother. Put it in the comments and we'll get back to it. No shame here. We did put a Twitter poll out, actually, speaking of the championship. So Sammie Szmodics, I don't know what he's done to Stephen Kenny. He must have ran over his dog or something. I don't even know if he has a dog. But he just cannot get into the Ireland team. So we put a poll up, actually. I was a bit premature, with my graphics. I have a graphic here from the poll. This was about 5 minutes left. Sorry. So here you go. Oh, should he be in the Ireland squad? Sammie Szmodics, we asked you on Twitter today. Here was your answer. Yes, 82%. No, 18%. Now, that was with about 5 minutes to go. It actually finished with 80% yes and 20% no. What do you guys think in the column? What do you think in the comment section there? Tell me. Should he be in the squad? What does he have to do to get into the Ireland squad? He's a little bit different. He was very good the other day. Everyone raving about him. What does he have to do? What does he have to do? I don't know. Does he have to get the same photos Jeff Hendrick has? Probably shouldn't go on about that. But it was very, very good. Anyway, it plenty to be happy about there, I think, for the Irish football team going forward. And also, yes, we had a debutant, didn't we? Had Andrew Moore, and he moved from Brighton on a loan to Blackburn Rovers, and he made his debut. So good on him there. And love this. Stephen Ring, Evan Ferguson, very lucky not to be on your goal list tonight. He could have had 2 or 3 essays, especially that control and spin. And Connor has a little update actually on the Tyler Goodrham. He's desperate to play for Ireland. Keep an eye on the under-21 squad on Thursday. Oh, I like it. Yes. The squad is being announced on Thursday for the under-21s. And on Friday for the men's senior team, that's the 1st of September. We will have a podcast. We will have reaction to that. And Connor again, Sinclair Armstrong with Vaughan, Moran, and Goodrham behind him will be something special. I love it. And right, we're gonna move it on to another section here. Now, on YouTube, not YouTube, on Facebook, we asked a question on the Green Machine page. Nick asked a question. And I want to get your answers to this. And by the way, I still want your answers for what was the worst referee decision. Come on, I haven't seen a single comment there about the worst referee decision to go against Ireland. I've got a couple there, actually, yeah. Come on, I want some more. Give me some more, please. Just not Henri. But anyway, we asked a question. Liam Lawrence only played for Ireland over a 2-year period, but certainly gave a good account of himself during that time. What players come to mind that had a brief Ireland career but impressed? Declan Rice comments will be most unwelcome. So what Ireland player gave a really good account of himself, but had a very, very, very limited amount of time? Now, we don't want anyone who's been playing currently. We just want players that have been, that aren't in the current squad. So we had a few smart responses there. And I'm just trying to find, I had the comments here. This is what happens, lads, when you don't. Here we go. This is what happens when you're not prepared. We had a great comment there, actually, Wayne O'Brien, Sean St. Ledger, David Ford from Barry Dunn, Clinton Morrison from Shane Boland. 35 games, but gave it his all when in green. Yes, that came to an end for him, didn't it, after the 5-2 in Cyprus? Stan blamed him. I think it was him, Andy O'Brien, and Paddy Kenny as well. By the way, let me hear your suggestions, by the way, guys. Chris Morris, says Ray McNamara. Very interesting one, Ray. An unusual one, but bear with me, says Ray on Facebook. Chris Morris, only first choice fullback for about 3 years, but those 3 years include all of Euro 88 and Italy 90. 35 caps in total, fewer than you'd imagine for a man who played 8 games at major championships. Yeah, he was basically a replacement for Mark Lawrenson, who had to retire in 1988 after that injury against Wimbledon in 87. And he basically came in there. I mean, we could have Mark Lawrenson. I think McGrath probably would have played in defence. I think Mark Lawrenson played in midfield for Ireland. I could be wrong on that one, but I want to see more comments coming in. Damien Delaney, according to John Boyle, should have played a lot more than he did, in my opinion. Maybe he wouldn't be as bitter as a pundit, John. Just saying. Joe Lapira says Shaff. Oh, God. Paddy Danny, Martin Rowlands, very unlucky. Was that the game he got stretched off with serious injury and pretty much ended his international career? Pretty decent player, could have done well for us. Simon Cox says John Boyle. I thought he was amazing when he burst onto the scene in 2011, but proof he was gone in a flash. Eddie McGoldrick says John Kelly. And Brian Wilson, Brian, fan of the podcast, as you all are. Tommy Coyne. That was an interesting one, Tommy Coyne. He actually started, didn't he? It was him up front on his own because Noel Quinn was injured for USA 94. He did a few good things for us as well. Caleb Fulham was absolutely brilliant that night in Barry in 2009. He was. Paul Brackenres as Wes Houlihan. Fair enough. Grain Bar says another one. And Richard Keogh, Mick Wallace. You know what, Richard Keogh there, Mick? Yes, he was doing very well. And then obviously had that unfortunate incident at Derby where he eventually got sacked. I'll tell you one. Keith Fahey. Keith Fahey for me. Technically very proficient, excellent, very tidy on the ball. Always liked him. We looked a lot more balanced. He obviously had issues, didn't he? He went to England first of all from Pats, and it didn't work out for him. He came back and then he went again, and he retired quite early. But I always liked him in the midfield. He looked very balanced, played on the Trap a lot, and Trap did actually trust him. He scored that goal, didn't he, in Yerevan against Armenia, which was 2010. It was for the Euro 2012 qualifiers. And it turned out to be a very vital goal, that, because Armenia stuffed Russia and they stuffed Slovakia, didn't they? Home and away, I believe. But anyway, a few more comments there I'd like to hear from you guys. And because it's a bit of a short show, because it's just me waffling on, really. Actually, while I have you here, are you guys going to Paris? Who's going to Paris here, by the way? Darryl, I know you're going to Paris. I'm going to see you over there, pal. Who's going to Paris? I got my media badges, so hopefully we'll be doing a live show over there. Martin will be over there with me. Can't wait. I travel out in the 6th. I'm going over on Eurostar. The squad will be released on the 1st of September. And we will have some form of reaction, either audio or visual. Probably audio, to be honest with you, real life and all that kind of thing. But we will be over there. We will be meeting you lovely people out on the streets of Paris, which I cannot wait for. But the squad is selected on the 1st of September. So cannot wait for that. And actually, another thing I cannot wait for, and that is the return of... Where is the video? Aha! That's right. This Week Back in the Day is going to be back this week in the day time, literally 8 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday. We have a brand new episode. We haven't yet recorded it. That's how brand new it's going to be. It'll probably be recorded the morning that it's released. So literally we'll be hot off the press. What are we going to be talking about? What's Nick and I going to be talking about? Here's a little clue.
Hello and welcome. Finally, the day has dawned for a game that will surely keep the nation on the edge of its seat all afternoon, because this is crunch time for the Republic of Ireland's World Cup ambitions. Victory against Holland this afternoon will, at worst, guarantee a playoff place against Asian opposition in our bid to qualify for Japan and Korea. What's required is a performance from Mick McCarthy's side above and beyond what has already been an impressive progression through World Cup Group 2.
All right, I'll play the clip. You know you want it. Here we go.
Now Roy Keane, you can always depend on him. Duff in close attendance. Keane is fouled. Duff helping it on towards Finnan. Finnan facing Cuckoo. And a little cross in there, and it's come through here. McAteer!
That's right. We're going to be going back in the Wayback Machine. Nick and I are going to be talking about Ireland's famous victory over the Dutch at Lansdowne Road. It was all to play for that afternoon. I was in Slane. I was actually watching on the big screen, and I think Ash were due to come on afterwards. Good luck trying to follow that act. And we're going to find out where Nick was anyway. I'm not sure if he was at it or what he was doing. He's probably like in a pram or something, since he's, a little baby. Do you know what? I'm going to play a clip here. A mate of mine, he's probably going to be watching this here. Frank, if you're watching. We always talk about this piece. Who remembers this clip here? Now, when I watched it live, I watched it on Sky because it was broadcast on Sky Slane. Sorry, I didn't have. I couldn't say no. I want to listen to George. But do you remember this? The back pass. I think we were 1-0. I think we were down to 10 men. It was still 0-0. But who remembers this absolutely mad back pass to Shay Given? And George Hamilton's commentary, very important. Have a listen.
That shouldn't be any trouble though to the defence. Oh no! And penalty, is it? No, it's not. That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
It can't be. Well, it started.
That should be simple. Oh no! We always talk about that, even to this day. It was an incredible afternoon. Terrible, but well. What do you know? We have time in the comments anyway. I remember, I've watched it back. It was a dreadful performance, but it was a great win. It was one of those, like Portugal at home. We were absolutely dreadful, but we somehow got a result out of that. And we got a win. But we're going to be talking about that anyway. That will be released. That will be coming your way this Wednesday, 8 a.m. It's on the 30th anyway. So it's a couple of days before the actual anniversary, but I cannot wait for that. And actually, I cannot wait to get your comments. We're going to see it out. Let's have a look here. There we go. Darryl O'Connor, good old Darryl, on a YouTube channel. Story Dave, still haven't got the full Holy Trinity for the new season. We haven't, have we? It's me. It's just been me, Darryl. The other two, just... See, I love you. Mick loves you as well, and so does mannequin. But yeah, we still haven't managed it real life. But you know what? We love doing it. I love doing it. I love talking to you guys. And, you know, the podcast is growing from strength to strength. And we want to meet more of you people. We want to talk to you people. We want to hear from you people. You know, what other podcast lets you have as much say? And we don't even charge you for it. But yeah, we just absolutely love doing it. Graham Farrell on the Mike Dean situation. Thought it was poor and shows it the refs union at play. Yeah, it really does. I mean, I get it. It is an us against them, but I think it's just this lack of accountability. Maybe there isn't a platform for it. Is there a platform to be accountable, to come out and say, I've made a mistake? I think it's only happened a handful of times. I think it's actually only ever happened once where a referee's come out after and said, yeah, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. If I remember, in the Premier League. And then they were told, no, not to do that. I don't know. It's a legal thing. It frustrates me. Stephen Ring, the referee in general, when we played away to Portugal, was diabolical. He made too many bad decisions that night to pick one. Absolutely, Stephen. And that was the night where Ronaldo broke the record, didn't he? He equaled and broke the record. And he had a big smile on his face when he scored, I think it was like 95th minute. That made me sick to my stomach. Daryl over on YouTube. In recent years, other than the handball, do not mention handball, Daryl. I felt we were robbed of a point against the Portuguese. Yes, as Stephen alluded to there, we played way too much time. Ref played way too much time. UEFA FIFA favour the bigger countries, not little Ireland. Yeah, we've had some shockers, haven't we? Darrell, again, we're allowed slate or doubt all we want tonight without backlash. As I say, Darrell, I always do it. I think for me, obviously the one in Brussels in 81, where there was a dodgy referee decision given and a free kick went against us, and it actually cost us qualification. I think it was goal difference. If you guys remember, there was goal difference. We failed to qualify for that World Cup 82. That would have been one of our best teams. We had a phenomenal team for that tournament. I actually have that on. I must look that, but I actually have that on video somewhere. I must have a look at that. And who remembers Brussels? I'm just thinking of Belgium here, actually. But who remembers Brussels when it was 97, the World Cup qualifier, and the playoff, and they scored a goal, which knocked us out. And it actually was from a throw-in, a Belgian throw-in. It should have been ours. We could actually do a stream about crap decisions against Ireland. Anyway, Darrell O'Connor again. Please God, Kenny, do not put a doubt in that squad on Thursday. You know he will, Darrell, and you know he'll probably start. And you know Martin will be on here, you know, as per usual. Leave him alone, Dave. He's brilliant. He's fantastic. It's not his fault. He's shit. Connor, I'm here, Dave. You are, and so am I, Connor. Huge fan of Malumbi, says Darrell. Real aggressive player, every team could do with. A starter for me for Ireland every time. Was class against Leeds the other week. Him and Cons oozing with passion. 100% agree there, Darrell. I think we've a lovely balance there with Knight, Malumbi, and Cullen in there. And, you know, Malumbi's a destroyer, isn't he? He goes in there, he's about, he's nasty, he's niggly, he's annoying. I say he's a bastard to play against, and I love it. And you need that aggression, otherwise you're too pedestrian. He's constantly at your heels. Definitely Ireland captain. Irish Football Blog, how you doing, Bill? And Republic of Ireland player tracker, so that's Connor as well. Have you merged? What's going on? I mentioned him first, in fact. I did it for you on the Green Machine site. Good man, Bill. Oh dear. Sort yourselves out there, lads. Jerry O'Sullivan, I know we're struggling, but why would we want a League One player who's not Irish? Well, because he's a real talent, Jerry, from what I've seen. I haven't seen a great deal of him, but he looks to have real potential. He's an attacking threat. He's only 20. He has time to develop. Look at Jason Knight. He was in League One for a season and a bit, and he's gone on to the Championship, and he's taken to it like a duck to water because he's 20. That's why he's a real talent. Have a look at him. Check him out. Go on to the Twitter page. Go on to Republic of Ireland tracker. There's a plug for you there, lads. Have a look, and they've got clips of him. I can't show it to you. I wish I could, Jerry. I can't show it to you on this because it'll be taken down by Sky. But this guy looks a proper prospect, and hopefully, and something that's a little bit different. Connor again, he's desperate. I'm silent. I was like, don't press on that comment because we've already seen it, and I keep doing it. It's like a fly going towards the blue light thing. Right, Stephen Ring. No, I read that one out. I caught that one out. Stephen, that's the one about Evan Ferguson. And Connor again about Sammie Szmodics. Should be in the squad, but he won't be called up somehow. Darrell O'Connor, another one that not only needs to get in the Ireland squad but start is Manning. I can never stomach O'Dowd at left wing back again after Athens. Ha ha ha. Are you watching, Martin? See, it's not just me. Darrell gets it. Darrell absolutely gets it. Just be careful, Darrell. You are going to meet Martin. He's probably going to come at you with a glass bottle in Paris. But yeah, O'Dowd at left wing back. Look, I'm not having a go at it. Well, I am actually, but you have to say that, don't you? It's a bit like when you say something horrible to somebody, but you go, no. You know, not because you're Irish, it sort of cleanses everything away. Look, he's not up to, your wing backs have to bomb on. They have to bomb forward. O'Dowd doesn't do that. He's not a left wing back, so he shouldn't be there. Now, Manning, Nick made a great point last week actually about Manning. He's not as mobile, and he doesn't like to push on because when he pushes on, he gets cut out very easily. And we saw it against Plymouth. Now he slipped and he's left on his arse. Now, I see a question coming up here about tactics, so I won't go on too much about it, about adaptation and being adaptable to tactics, but that's probably one of the reasons why Kenny probably hasn't selected him, which I think is actually valid. To be fair, Dan, I do think it's valid. Stephen Ray again. But Sammie Szmodics, I can't see him being called up for these two games. I can't see Kenny changing anything for this break. Next break, he has a good chance. What do you reckon? He's going to stick with, because, what's it, 2 points? Needs minimum 2 points from this to stay in contention and to stay in the job. And of course, against the quality of opposition, he probably doesn't want to change. He wants to stay loyal to those who have let him down, but, you know, whatever. Graham Farrell. Paul McGrath, USA 94. What's that in conjunction with Graham? I'm a bit lost on that one. Come back to me on that one. Liam Lawrence is now Stoke City under 18 manager, by the way. Oh, okay. He had a massive row with Roy Keane, didn't he? Roy Keane threw him out of Sunderland. And what was the name? Dumpy said that anyone has a row with, falls out with Roy Keane is, he's got good character, or something like that at the time. Darrell O'Connor again for a limited time, but a press for me would be McGoldrick. Dave McGoldrick, not Eddie McGoldrick, but we call him Eddie, don't we? Dave McGoldrick, yeah. I think Mick got the best out of him. Not an out-and-out striker. Holds the ball up well. When we were playing that burst football and we were trying to kick our way out of trouble, and then McGoldrick would basically just hold on to the ball and he would bring the midfield into play, wouldn't he? He was very good at that. Very, very tidy footballer, but not an out-and-out goal scorer. But yeah, I'd go with that one. Graham Farrell, Martin Rowland broke his leg after 3 games in Croker. Oh, I remember that, We had a few of those. What was that man? Judge, was it? Alan Judge? Had a great game against Denmark in Copenhagen, and he got injured, and he was actually, whilst the lads were celebrating the draw, Shane Duffy's equaliser, he was still getting treatment on the side, and he looked really good for us. I thought he might win it for us, actually. His delivery was superb. Stephen Ring. I bloody loved Liam Lawrence. Ran his socks off every game, especially play up against France. Yep. He did. Did he miss a sitter in the home game? No, he didn't. That was Andy Keogh, wasn't it? He missed a sitter in the home game to make it 1-0. Darrell O'Connor, also Stephen Ireland, but that was his own doing. Yes, it was. Quality player. I've got most of Steve Staunton's games, actually, and in charge. And Stephen Ireland, I think, he had 3 goals in 5 games. What a talent that guy was. What a talent, but he shot himself in the foot. And so, unfortunately, Graham Farrell. Tommy Corner did well. Leon Best did okay as well. Dave McGoldrick, Keith Fatty. Yes, Dave, you're right. He was a class player. He wasn't he? He was so tidy on the ball. He was just what we needed. He just gave that balance to our midfield. And then I think did I watch him and Colin Healy in a game for Pats against Cork City? And they were really they were just Absolutely. Streets above everyone else. Just so technically good. Daryl again. Would you agree we need to be more adaptable in formations? For example, flat fullbacks and put the extra man somewhere else where he can be better utilised. I think absolutely. I think a manager, it's a balance. It is a balancing act. Don't mean to sound coy, but with our managers, we either go from the absolute laziness of someone like Trapattoni, where he goes back to rugby tactics and basically announces his team a week in advance. You know, back in the days, even with Jack, they used to announce the team the day before. It was just what you did. And then you went to the complete barmy of Mick sometimes, where Mick would, I think he was trying to play 5 at the back when he took over 96. And then when we lost 3-2 in Shkopi in a massive row, Andy Townsend, he said, no, back to 4-4-2. That's our bet. And then we got steadily better from that. And then, you know, we kind of, and then you have the whole thing of Martin O'Neill putting Cyrus Christie in midfield, like with an hour's notice when he's never played in centre of the park. So it is a balancing between, you know, not being too familiar and not being too crazy. And I think, yeah, every manager wants to play their style, and I get that. And Steve Kenny has his style of play. However, when it comes to international football, you can't just go out and buy somebody. You know, you do have to adapt. Now, I don't think we can play wing backs with. If you want to play wing backs, right? But we don't have players to play wing backs. We don't have wingers. We just don't. Mickey Johnson's out injured. I believe. Yeah, he is out injured. Jason Knight, do you really want to play him as a wing back? You've got James McLean playing 4th tier football. He can't. For Wrexham, you can't have that in League Two. You can't really have him starting against Holland and France, really. So we don't have wing backs. Don't play them. We don't have them. So don't play them. You got a good left back with Ryan Manning, but he's not a wing back. So you do have to adapt. But he won't. He has his philosophy, he has his way of playing, and okay. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, he should adapt. Every manager should adapt. Stephen Ring, for a player who should have got more games, I always thought David Ford should have got more caps than he was. Lovely fella, Stephen Ring. I suppose I can share this story, but I used to work for Millwall. And that's actually where I met Mick McCarthy for the first time. And where I used to stand, it was near the Players' Tunnel. And although I'd actually be just outside the Players' Lounge, and I'd often see David Ford. What a lovely man. I actually saw him the week after we drew 1-1 with England in Wembley. And I actually said to him, he made a great save, if you remember. A phenomenal save, actually, in that game at Wembley. And I said to him, what a lovely man, like really, really lovely guy. I'm sure he won't remember it. But apparently during one of the games, my colleagues were down by the referee. They had to like stand outside the referee room. Apparently the decision went against him. And he ran after the referee. The referee locked the door. And he's outside booting the fucking door. Just boom, boom. The referee said nothing. You know, so I was giving the referee stick earlier on. But there you go. The referee didn't open the door, so they couldn't see who it was. And they were just like, just let him do that. And then, you know, we didn't see it. He'll calm down. It's a heat of the moment. So, you know, sometimes back in the day, referees would allow a lot. But yeah, that was a story about him. I don't know what it was over. But I remember my mate telling me that. So it's from a very reliable source. But anyway, I digress. Graham Farrell. Tommy Coyne did well for the small period he played. Keefe is another one. Yep. Here we go. Squad is out on Thursday at 12 and the 21s at 2. Oh, sorry, Connor. I got my times wrong. I do apologize. These guys live and breed the current game. I live and breed the game of the past. But they would know a lot more than I would. Graham Farrell, Owen Coyle, one cap wonder. That's right. It's like in 94. Was that against Bolivia? I could easily Google it, but I think it's more fun to have a conversation about it. Owen Coyle, was that against Bolivia? Come on, help me out there, guys. I don't want to Google it. Darrell O'Connor, maybe like a 4-2-3-1, especially playing against weaker opposition where 5 at the back isn't necessary. Yeah, absolutely. You know, adaptation, just looking at that there in my head, adaptation is the key, Darrell. If you just play if you play a rigid system and you don't have the players ready to play it, you're going to be very easy to play against. And we are very easy to play against. Jack would play 4-4-2, and then he would play 4-5-1 towards later when he had the wingers coming on. We had Stan and Phelan, and and he brought on McAteer and all that. Because we played one up front in USA 94. But even when we played 4-4-2 in the early days, in the 80s, you knew what you were going to get. But you had quality opposite. You had quality players. You had players like Ronnie Whelan. Once you got the ball into their opposition and he won it from you, they could play the ball any way they wanted. So you knew what you were going to get. But good luck trying to stop it. But we don't really have that. We don't have the same quality. So I think he has to be cuter. He has to be a bit more coy. You can still play good football. Just, we just need to be hard to play against. And I think we need a lot more aggression as well. I've said it from day one, and that is a coaching issue. Our players have to be more aggressive when they're playing. Darrell O'Connor, Bill Jason Mack and the Old Lansdowne Road. Ah, yes. That is coming. That is a nod to our This Week Back in the Day episode coming on Wednesday, where Nick and I talk about when we beat the Dutch 1-0. Graham Farrell, now he wasn't great, man. Dean Kiley was well better instead of David Ford. Dean Kiley, by the way, I mean, I do think David Ford, he never let us down, and I think he was very poorly treated by Martin O'Neill. However, Dean Kiley, what a goalkeeper. We had Shay Gibbon, Alan Kelly, and Dean Kiley. And then you had Nicky Colgan as well, who actually wasn't a bad goalkeeper. I think, was he at Hibs? Yet again, I could easily Google this, but I'm trying to go off memory. But we had 3 quality goalkeepers. Gibbon, Kelly, and Kiley. Phenomenal. Kieran Boyle. How are you doing, Kieran? Over in sunny Florida. Holland game was when we had backbone, skill, and determination. Now it's a load of attractive football bollocks, which won't get us to any tournaments. And also, we're going nowhere wearing Castori. That's the main. Never mind your tactical analysis there, Kieran. It's the Castori, isn't it? We're not going anywhere there. Nick Menzies, who's this kid? Great to see a lot of continental-based players getting games. Parent McNulty in Holland and Jacob Bryan on the bench for Leon. Matt Healy scoring in Belgium and Joel Bagan playing as well. See, there you go. Even though he's not on, he's still giving me an L dig out. You know what? I was sitting there going, I'm missing something. A bit of a day today, guys, so I do apologise for lack of preparation. But there you are. Yes, Jacob Bryan was on the bench for Leon. And, I mean, what a move that was. That one came out of the blue there. Fantastic. Fantastic to see it. Archduke, 8199. I was on the south bucket seats behind the goal. Great atmosphere. It looked phenomenal. The 2 places to be in the world that day was Lansdowne Road and Slane Castle. Because I tell you what, Archduke, when that goal went in, 80,000 fans. And they were mostly Irish. I will tell more about that story. They were mostly Irish at that game, at that concert in Slane. Hence why you had the second gig, because you were only allowed to have 1 gig in Slane. I think that's still a thing. It was a law, but they sort of, pulled a fast one because the tickets went to internet. I'll tell more about it, but anyway, but yeah, it was mostly Irish fans of that, and it was amazing, 80,000 fans. But I'll tell more about that on the podcast when we do that episode on Wednesday. Darrell O'Connor again. The match where the famous handshake between Mick and Roy, limp handshake. Kieran Ball, shite game, shite football result, multiple successful qualifying campaigns. Now we pretend to play passing game and are shite, plain and simple. There you go, Kieran, with the positivity over there. I mean, you do have a point, Kieran, but we played some decent football on the Mick, don't forget. But you're up against a class team like Portugal and a class team like Holland at home, so we won't be too harsh. Graham, really worried about left back for the upcoming game. I agree. The only one we have doesn't fit in the system that Kenny wants to play, and he's probably going to play O'Dowda, who is not a left wing back, because he doesn't bomb on, and your wing backs have to bomb on. It's that simple. Graham Farrell again. I remember watching it, Dutch game. Van Gaal made a bollocks of it. We went 1-up, he threw forwards on in the hope that he'd get something, but it never happened. I thought we played really well, except for Gary Kelly. Were great on the day. He was a bag of nerves. He was when he Mark Overmars. And we remember the tackle, don't we? From Mark Overmars. Hold on a second. Actually, here, I have it here, guys. Here's a little bonus clip. Watch this.
Let's look at Keane for a second. He certainly set his stall out, as I say, in the Classics very early on, didn't he?
Just in the first minute of the game, he did exactly what we needed to do with John and Liam, and I said beforehand, let them know you're there, test their attitude, and there's a ball played in here, and this is in the first minute, and if you watch him here, whack! Now, you're welcome to Lansdowne Road. If you're going to win today, you're going to have to ride a lot of that kind of stuff. And the bonus was he didn't get booked for it. He only gave it's just a
whack. Welcome to Lansdowne Road. All of that and more coming up on Wednesday. So that's what's great about the Green Machine. We have all these clips. You know, we watch all this stuff. We're students of the game. Where oh my god, I have lost my track. Here we are. Yes, and we are back. Sorry, when I showed the clip, it just knocked my comments going. I don't have a producer like these fancy other podcasts. Graham Farrell, he wasn't in until they were 3-1 down. I'm not sure what that is. Graham, Conley should have got a penalty in that game. Oh, that is Serbia. That's Serbia away, isn't it? Sorry, the comments have got muddled up there a bit. That's Serbia away, yeah. Is that the one where he turned around and he said there's a clip where he turns around and goes to the referee, have we got VAR? And the referee goes, fuck off with your VAR. And yeah, we should have. We actually should have had a penalty in that one. If that's the one, the 3-2 in Serbia. Graham Farrell. Yeah, that's right, Dave. My dad was telling me about it in the Charlton News 87. For the Euros, we got a late pen, which Brady scored. That got us a point. Karma. Yes, that was Belgium at home. A 2-2 draw. That was in the Heysel Stadium. That was literally a year, just a little over a year after the Heysel disaster, where Jim Beglin, Mark Lawrence, and Ronnie Whelan actually played in that European Cup final. But yeah, that was it. Yeah, 1-0 down, and Frank Steven got a lovely diving header, and then we were 2-1 down, and last minute, Liam Brady puts it away. I think he was captain for the day as well. You know, Liam Brady. No, Frank would have still been on. Sorry, I digress. Graham Farrell, I think you asked what was the best performance of the tournament we had. It was Pomegranate 94. Oh, sorry, I don't even remember asking that. Fair enough. Pomegranate 94. Yeah, he was. USA 94, and it was against Italy. Phenomenal. Graham, we are crying out for a number 10, in my opinion. We need Moran or Zaz as a wild card. Graham Farrell, got a question for you. I'm not sure if you watch League of Ireland. I don't get a chance to, Graham. It's not really shown over here. And just life is just mad at the moment. Who do you reckon is the best player currently playing the league that deserves a call up? I reckon Chris Forrester. And yes, I'm a past fan, but he's a quality player. I will take your word for that, Graham. I'm not going to try and bullshit you. I don't know. Nick, if you are watching, Nick, can you answer Graham's question for me, please? Darrell O'Connor. Also, is Artie still suspended for this window? I believe he is, isn't he? And we don't have Seamus Coleman either. That's an excellent question. I don't want to go into it too much there, lads. I had a quick look there, but if somebody knows, tell me in the comments, please. Stephen Ring, Dave, I think you need to put up a poll about it, doubt it, just to see the general consensus. I think you're right, Stephen. Nick, if you're watching, because Nick put that poll up about Martin will probably try to boycott it, but you know. Yeah, I think you're right. Nick, next week, if you're watching, let's put a poll up about Colin Madeira. That'd be interesting. Stephen Ring, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we lost 3-0 to Germany under Noel King, didn't Ford get man of the match? Says a lot when you concede 3, still get man of the match. Yes. Yes, he did. We were dreadful. That was the night before I met Amy Duffy for the first time. Graham Farrell, yeah. USA Cup. World Cup 94. Stephen Ring, I agree with Darrell. For the likes of France and Netherlands, I can understand a 5 back with men behind the ball, but when we are playing teams our level and below, we have to be more attack minded with a 4 back. Yeah, even against Gibraltar, lads, I thought Gibraltar at home, I thought we were dreadful. The goalie made a mistake, went in, pounced on it 1-0. It's Gibraltar. You know, even Malta away, the minnow teams, we should be giving these guys a hiding. Graham Farrell, yeah, he played for us, Hibs briefly. That was on Nicky Colgan. Thank you, Graham. Darrell O'Connor, if the 2 points thing for Kenny is true, I'd say Kenny is aiming to not get demolished against the French and aiming for a win at home versus Dutch in the power of the Irish atmosphere. Yeah, very much so. Archduke Colgan was at Hibs. Thank you very much. Kieran, apologies. The bastard heat is getting to me. Anyway, tired of people bad-mouthing the long ball. It was what got us to 2 World Cups. Yeah. No, it was. I mean, and the thing was, with the style of football Jack played, it was just a more crude version of what you see now. Pressing, you know, the gegenpress. That's what he did. We were the first country to do it. Hit it into the opposing team corner and basically make them play the ball outside their box. Unfortunately, Liam Brady tried to do that. He tried to play the ball inside his own half against West Germany in '89. That's anniversary's coming up soon, actually. And basically lost the ball, and he didn't. Was it Doffner? Was it? And anyway, he didn't track him down, lost his marker, and he scored a screamer, and Jack took him off. There you go. Graham, gotta miss Bill and the boys. Now we have Stephen Kelly and Joanne Kent. Well, Jesus. Well, it could be worse. We've got Daniel Sturridge over here, Graham. Daryl O'Connor, wouldn't it be great if Jason Lumley replicated that royal tackle? Welcome back to Ireland. It would be Daryl, but he'd probably be sent off. Remember Stephen Gerrard? Straight on and off against United. Graham Farr, I don't know what he means by shy football. We were beaten for the second time ever. This is Kieran's comment about only playing football to qualify for tournaments. Second time ever in a group, winning 7, drawing 3, finished second on goal difference. We were a class side. That was Mick's peak side. And if Keane hadn't have stupidly blown the lid, we'd have done better in the World Cup. What I would say, just to add to that, Graham, if Roy, his mentality was in the right place, definitely. But he went over there in a foul mood. Not to open up a can of worms, but he went over there in a foul mood. And I think actually we wouldn't have done as well as we did with him in the team under that current cloud. Graham, honestly, Doherty has been shocking at international level. I 100% agree. Daryl O'Connor, I don't have Twitter, Dave, but add an extra vote against the Dowd on my behalf. We will indeed, Darren. I look forward to it. And Stephen Ring, was Doherty not a second yellow against Greece? Gibraltar would have been a suspension over. Yes, it was. It wasn't a straight red, was it? It was 2 yellow cards. So yeah, he's back. He could play left wing back, although I was going to play right wing back because we don't have Coleman. Oh, Festi. He's doing well at Indonesia. Anyway, and one more comment, lads, and then we're going to leave it there. If Doherty is injured, left wing back and right wing back is really worrying. And just a few more comments. And Graham Farrell, agree with Graham Doherty. I agree with Graham. Doherty is an awful footballer. And Stephen Ring just adding, he has to call it Festi to play at right wing back, 100%. Lads, where is the music? We're going to play it. This is going to see us out. There you go. What part of the track's it on? Listen, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, you wonderful, beautiful people out there, for joining us on this week's episode of The Green Machine. We will be back with some comment on the team when the team is announced on the 31st. Not the 1st. I got that wrong. On the 31st of August. And it's going to be interesting to see what he does. We know Callum O'Dowd is going to be in it. We know Jeff Hendrick. He still hasn't got a club. Shouldn't be in it. He probably will be in it. And we're going to have a poll, though. We have to put that poll up about Callum O'Dowd. Should be a bit of crack anyway. But as I said, we will be back during the week with an episode of This Week Back in the Day. We will also have comment in some form. Just pop over to our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not calling it X. And also, guys, really appreciate it if you could spread the word about our YouTube channel. We've got some exciting things coming towards that. We're going to go more down the sort of might be delving a bit more into the Lansdowne Road archives, and you've seen the footage that we have on there, so we might be sharing a little bit more of that on the YouTube channel. So spread the word. Please tell people about us if you like what you hear. Spread the word about the Green Machine podcast. Spread the word about Lansdowne Road. We really appreciate it. Anyway, enough waffle from me, lads. We'll see you again next Sunday, and we'll also hear from you during the week as well. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, and good night, God bless, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday with whatever's left of it.